Hey there, welcome to the table, the virtual table. I own the game. I actually very seriously considered just playing this on my table and recording it physically. It's just, I don't know, I'm so spoiled with Tabletop Simulator, especially for recording purposes. I really believe this is better. I know some of you do give me feedback that you like the physical copies, um, and maybe I can switch over if I get enough feedback, I guess. But there is one thing that the Tabletop Simulator lets me do that my physical copy does not, and that is in the solo game. It's basically a two-player game. It's you versus the bot. And with Tabletop Simulator, I can copy the components, and I can make four bots or three bots. So we can do a four-player game, which I find Great Western Trail and a four-player game to be perfect. I'm not saying that a two-player game stinks or is bad. I just like the variety of interacting with the other players and just having more going on than just your own thing. So I we're gonna do a whole series here. I have Great Western Trail, as you can see. I have the Northern expansion. I have Northern Rails expansion. I have Argentina, and I also have New Zealand. Um, I have not played Argentina. I do physically own it. Um, my gaming group is they needed to play this game like 8 times before they got the hang of it, and I'm not joking. I mean, it's some people this is a heavy game for them, but they really wanted to understand this and feel like they played out all the different ways to play. Um, and then I just recently introduced them to New Zealand. I skipped Argentina. I went straight to New Zealand, and it's funny because my gaming group loves New Zealand, and in fact, they believe that we don't need to play this anymore. Like New Zealand replaces this, so we'll save New Zealand, I guess, for the end. Um, I personally like New Zealand as well. I think there's like a lot of bonuses and benefits for Mr. Pfister here, the designer. I think he learned lessons as he was doing this. I think this original game is excellent on its own, but it just seems like every new iteration he has improved upon it. I know some people don't like the Northern Rails expansion. My gaming group has never played the Northern Rails expansion. I have. I personally, I think more is better most of the time, so I'm okay with it. Um, but with that being said, I've never played the solitaire. So this is new for me doing the solitaire, and then when we get to Argentina, that's going to be brand new as well. So this is going to be 4 games in the series. The original game, which we'll do second edition. There is a first edition that does have slightly different variation going on, but we're not going to worry about first edition. We'll do second edition original, second edition Northern Rails expansion, because the solo game is different for those two. Then we're going to do Argentina, and then we'll finish with New Zealand. And I am looking forward to Argentina because I've never played it, even though I own it. It's one of my games on my shelf that it's on my shelf of shame right now. But like I said, convincing my group, hey, let's play Great Western Trail. Um, you know, I get them to finally play it with me, and then it sits on my shelf for 3 months before I can get them to play it again. And then they're like, well, we forget we don't want to play the expansion or anything new because they forget how to play it, because they only played it that one time, and then you're playing it again. And anyways, long story short, my gaming group just keeps wanting to play the original, and they just finally said, hey, we're willing to take on something new, and we went straight to New Zealand. And part of me is I wanted to go straight to New Zealand because I personally felt like that was going to be my favorite game in the series. And I was like, man, I don't know when I'm going to convince these guys to play this with me again, so I'm going to go straight for the jugular. So there's the history there for you. But yes, I have Argentina. It is so different, and I would like to try that as well. But we're going to start with this one because if you're not familiar with this game, learning the rules for this will help you to understand the rest. All right, so if you're familiar with the channel or new, it doesn't matter. This is going to be a setup video. The actual playthrough will be the next one. And So you could just go ahead and jump to the next one if that's all you're interested in. I will just reiterate that we are going to play against 3 bots, not just one, which is the standard rules. And Tabletop Simulator is going to allow us to do that. So with that said, let's jump in. All right, so the setup, of course, is going to be on the rulebook. I wish this game had a better table with the pull-out drawers. I don't know if there's a way to like physically change the table. Um, if somebody knows how to do that, please let me know because I would assume like right here. I don't know what any of this means, and I know we have a square table or a rectangle table. So if we do a custom rectangle, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to be able to make the drawers come out so I can have more space. That's what I'm looking for. Anyways, okay, this is Great Western Trail. The basic gist is you're going to be delivering cattle along the trail. So you're going to be marching cattle along a trail, and then eventually you get to Kansas City, where you get to sell your cattle for cash and prizes, right? Um, this is going to be the flow that will dictate like when this little thing pops off the bottom. That's going to trigger the end game. So your timer is this thing right here, and in a two-player game, you would only use these 2 columns, and so the timer will move down based on a two-player game. In a 4-player game, then we use all 4 columns, and of course, the 3-player would use 3. So the timer is semi-immune to the number of players, and you could argue that a two-player game is more than sufficient. Um, but anyways, there you go. All right, so what do we do? Well, we're going to also play with the Cemental variant. So there's these cows called the Cemental cows. And so first thing that happens with this variant is you get this and it goes over top like so. So this is your cow market. And in a two-player game, there's only 7 cows. In a 4-player game, there's going to be 13. But with the Cemental variant, you can see it changes to 9 and 15. So we're going to have a few extra cows here. And then the Cemental cows themselves are going to be... we have to take the 5s out. There we go. And then the 4s. There we go. And then we have the 2s. I could have sworn they were 3s, but oh, they're 3 points. Okay. All right. So this is the normal cow market. They're going to be different colors. They're going to be either purple, brown. Oh boy, I didn't intend for that to happen. I somehow picked up the whole game board. Okay, they're going to be purple, brown. Let's lock the game board. There we go. Purple, brown, and then there's a red, white, and blue set of cows. And you're going to see that as these get drawn. And then what happens is, without getting into all the various rules, these cows are fixed cows, meaning that that's worth 4 value. That's a cow that has a value of 4, and it's worth 5 victory points at the end of the game. These cows, as you can see, they look like calves. They're like baby cows, and then they become, they grow, and then they become adult cows. So what this variant is, these cows go into the cow market along with everything else, and then we shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Right? We're gonna draw 15 of these instead of 13 because we have extra cows in the market, and some of them are going to be the orange cows, and now we can purchase orange cows. That's what this thing is doing. It's serving 2 purposes. It's giving us the new cow counts that are going to be in the market, and it's also giving us the prices for purchasing the orange cows. So if we find an orange cow and we purchase it, we take it all the way to Kansas City, and that cow is delivered to Kansas City. Then that cow upgrades to these cows. So these are upgrades that you can get. And so if you deliver the orange cow 3 times, first time it becomes a 4, and then the last time it becomes a 5, and then the victory points goes up. So I know that's getting into a lot of details there, but it's a great variant. Let me just put it that way. It makes the game better. I like it, so we're going with it. And then for the solo mode, there is the rulebook, which is awesome. I was wondering if there was going to be a rulebook. I'm going to try to put that up here. I'm going to try to put this one up here too. So that way we can just, hopefully they don't fall off the table. That's the only thing. And then there's a board, like so. And then a specialization marker and their cards, right? So if I copy all three of these and we clone them, and then I clone this, oops, and I clone these. And just like that, we have ourselves 3 AI bots. So if you're playing with just one AI, and I know we haven't gotten into the game in great detail yet, but basically you have 3 different types of workers that can work for you. These are cowboys, builders, and train specialists. So then what you would do is you would randomly draw tiles from here, and as part of the setup, these are the 1 tiles, those are the 2, those are the 3. So you see 1, 2, and 3. So you would draw some, well here, let's shuffle. Make sure we shuffle each one. So you would draw a 1 tile, like so. And the fact that those are both the same is a coincidence. Then here's some 2s and some 3s. So what we would do is we would draw, I think it's the 3 tiles, and whichever one we draw, that's where the specialization is. But since we're going to do 3 bots, the first bot is going to specialize in cowboys, second bot's going to specialize in builders, and the third bot's going to specialize in trains. And remember, if you're doing a 2-player game, you're going to have just 1 bot specializing in only one of these categories. And that gets, the specialization thing helps with variation, right? You know, because the next time you play, that bot may be specializing in something else. We'll see. And then these cards are just the cards that dictate what they do on their turn. So we do need 3 sets of cards because having them all share the same deck would not be very fair, I don't think. And I think as far as like table space goes, we actually have more space than I thought. So I'm going to move this down so we can have enough room for our cards to breathe. And yeah, we'll do the same thing here. No, actually, we're going to keep this one up. And then, yeah, we could have put the rulebook back there, or actually, we got plenty of room to have the rulebooks over here. And then we have to pick our color. I'm going to be the yellow player, so we're going to go ahead and grab our player board, and we'll put that. Oh, we'll put it right here, and then we have to grab all of our stuff. I guess I'll grab it one at a time here. So here's our deck of cards that we start the game with. This game has deck building elements to it. And then here's our cowboy, our train, which starts on the 0. And yeah, we then have all of our tiles. Alright, this is painful. Still quicker than setting it up on your table. Okay, this here is used for, okay, if you're playing a 4-player game, you use your player board. If you're doing a 3-player game, this would go on like that. Or one of these should be 2-player. This is not. So anyways, we're not doing 3-player, so we can keep that out. Yeah, this is getting... So the certificate cube goes here, and then we're going to get a whole bunch of these. I'm just right-clicking I'm grabbing as many things as I can. Bring it down here, and then we'll deal with those. Is there anything left inside of there? No. So we could probably drop that back in. And these also. So our farmer is going to start. Well, technically they start here because we can start at various places. Okay, this stuff here is there's a A side and a B side, so it's for variation in the game. Now, they recommend on your first game that you just play everything on A side, but the rules have several options for you. Players can just decide which side do you want to play with. You can just do all A, or you could do all B, or you can randomize them where it's a mix of A and B. I am going to do all A, and I've played this game many times. I actually like the A side more than the B side, so I'm totally okay with that. So we just line these buildings up. So you can see it's 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and then 7. And these just need to be lined up somewhere in front of you. They're not built yet, but they will be potentially built. And so the order only matters because these ones are the easiest to build and this is the hardest to build. So it's in order of easy to hard. And obviously the victory points, which is up on the right, you can see it progressively gets more and more powerful, victory point wise. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to set this up for all the bots. Every bot is going to be using buildings as well. They're also going to use the same side we are, and we'll have to go through all the trouble of setting that up. And then these go on all these spots that you see here. I am going to lock that in so our player board doesn't move around. And yeah, if you were setting this up at home, it's just as painful there as well. And these discs are discs that cover up spots on your board, and as you play, you can, uncover the discs and do things. It unlocks powers and stuff like that. So this is your deck of cards, and I think if I do a search, you can see that there's white cows. There's 3 of them, the Galloways. There's some black cows called the Piney Woods, and there's 3 of those. There's green cows called Santa Gertrudis, and there should be 3 of those. And then there's 5 of the Criollo, which are silver cows. The silver cows are, now the cows have a value on them, so here you can see the value is 1. The silver cows are the least valuable. And then the rest of these all have a value of 2. Now, what's the difference? Obviously, they have different names and different colors, right? The basic gist is this is a deck building game, so you're gonna, we're gonna shuffle these, and then we're gonna draw a hand, and our hand size is 4. If I ever can remove that disc, then my hand size becomes 5, and then this would make it 6. But right now, at the start of the game, it's going to be 4. So we're going to draw 4 cards. We can do that now. There's no reason not to. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to change my color. We're going to make it Game Master. And so this is my hand of cards. And basically, if I were to deliver these to Kansas City right now, the way the rules work is Kansas City will pay you this much that you see at the top for every different cow you have. So if I deliver both of these cows, I'm only going to get paid once. So it's a waste. So I want 4 different colored cows to get the maximum number of points or money, sell value. So, and then we'll get into what does the sell value mean and how does that work for you when we start to play the game. But just understand that this is where the deck building comes in. And so over here, this says draw 15 cards. So we're going to draw 1, and that's a purple. And I'm going to try to put the cows underneath where they belong. Here's 2. We got an orange. We should move this over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need to make room. There we go. So we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 15. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, now it's quite common to have some variations of cows, being more rare than others when you do this. It's just luck of the draw. There's 29 more cows in here. I think a lot of them, there's the same number of them. It's just, we drew a whole bunch of the blue ones. Um, these red, white, and blue cows, the victory points are pretty static, I believe. So all the red ones are 2, all the yellow or the cream ones, or whatever you want to call these, are 1, and then all the blue ones are 3. So you might say, hey, I just want to grab all the blue ones then. But remember, if you deliver a different color cow, then you get more value. So it's very common for players to grab one of each, right? Because then, that's more variety for selling at Kansas City. But by grabbing one of each, you're getting less points. So this is some of your trade-off. The other thing to point out is that the purple, as you can see, these cows have different victory point values on them. So even though they're worth the same when you deliver to Kansas City, this one has much more value than this one for delivery or victory point at the end of the game. And the brown ones have the same properties. So when you're buying the brown or the purple cows, you do need to pay attention and make sure you buy the one that's worth the most points. Okay? Alright, so for setting up the game, this is what's called the cow market. So we start the game with these basic cows. Those stars at the bottom just show that that's the yellow. See the little yellow dot in the middle just means it's the yellow player's starter cards. So this is our starting deck of cards. And then we can purchase cows, which will then be added to our hand. And then those cows could end up being a part of our mix. And like I said, you want different colored cows for maximum sell value. These cows are worth the most at 5, but if I have 2 of these in my hand, I only get to sell 1 of them. So even though these are the best cows in the game, having 2 of them in your hand when you go to Kansas City, only 1 of them is going to give me value. So these, you buy multiple of these for the victory points, but you only want 1 of them in your hand when you deliver. I hope that makes sense. And I'll bring it up again when we play because it's an important concept. Also, you have a train here. That train is going to go along the track. And when you deliver to Kansas City, the cows then get loaded on the train and they get delivered to these cities. And the numbers that are beneath them is based on the value of the cows. So right now, my value of my cows is 2, 3, 5. This one's worthless, remember, because I can't have 2 of the same color. So if I had 5 value cows, I can only deliver my cows to Kansas City, Fulton, or St. Louis. This has a value of 6 underneath it, so I can't deliver to there with the current value that's in my hand. In order to get to New York, I got to have 18 value. So the important thing about the train is you can deliver to any of these. It doesn't matter where your train is located. However, see these little train crossing symbols? Each one that your train is not in front of, like if I'm in front of this, I can deliver to St. Louis, no problem. But if I try to deliver to Bloomington, I have 2 train crossing symbols that are in front of my train, so I have to pay $2 because I'm paying for somebody else's train to do the delivery. So that's an important concept. And then these are, this is just it's a mechanic that most people have a difficult time understanding, but these are called the station master tiles. So I'm going to shuffle, and we're going to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, just 5. There's none down here. So these are places where you can deliver your train can divert to stop here, and then these are bonuses that you can pick up. There's 2 things you can do at these stations. You can drop off a disc. So you pay this amount of gold, you get that many points at the end of the game, and then it lets you take one of your discs off your player board. So it's a concept that allows you to remove discs quicker. Because normally you can only remove discs when you're delivering your cattle. This can allow you to remove discs for at other times, so you can unlock your player board quicker. The other thing that you can do is you can put employees on these stations, and then you grade these tiles. So if I owned a cowboy, for example, like well, just any of these, so I can take my builder and I can put him here, and the builder does not stay on my player board anymore, so I don't have that to help me anymore. But it will allow me to take this, and now I get that bonus the rest of the game. And what is that bonus? Like, this is a certificate for the rest of the game, and at the end of the game, I score 3 points for every 2 hazard tokens. So it's an end game scoring opportunity at the bottom, and a one time or a bonus. This is a bonus for the rest of the game. This is just a one-time bonus with 2 gold, and then this is I'm going to score a point for every employee I have, and so forth. This one you don't score any points, but you get a whopping 12 gold. All right, so there's a lot to it, and uh, you know, getting into all the mechanics is can be a little bit tough at first. The other thing is that these are your uh, they're called neutral buildings. They're used by all players, and in the beginning of the game, they should be A, B, C, D. That's only if you're playing it as a on your first time. What they recommend that you do is you should shuffle these, and I don't know how to shuffle. Um, can I do this and they'll shuffle? I mean, they sort of are. All right, so all right. I don't know which ones are which, so we'll just go ahead and grab now. So for this spot here, we're going to go ahead and grab this one, and then I'm even going to randomize like where I drop them. So this changes up the game, where these end up. There we go. I think I forgot to take that one off, or maybe I didn't. All right, so for example, this one has an F on it. In the starter game, he would be in the F location. So we we mixed it up a little bit, and I like mixing it up. I don't like the standard locations. Okay, for setting up the bots, this is more or less what you need to do. We also have to grab inside of each player aid. We don't need the player board. Um, we do need their cattle driver. We need, what the heck is that? Oh, we need their train, and we need all the buildings. I don't need to spread them out like the other ones though, and you'll see why in a second. They're using the same exact buildings we are, so we don't have to spread them out as much. So player one will be the white player. When they do need to build, we'll just go through these, and there's a algorithm on which ones they build first and stuff like that. And then the rest of these are their discs, which we don't use. So we don't use anything else in here. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the cube. That's right. So we don't need any of the other components. So we just need the building tiles, the train, and the worker. So we're going to go ahead and grab... Oh, that was not a good idea. So for red, we get the worker. We're going to get the train. And then once again, we'll grab their buildings, and it's a little painful. I could leave them all in here and just grab them as we need them, but I like having them out. Now, if we were doing a 2-player game, you would also have to grab this, because there needs to be a 2-player version. And I meant to show you this. So this is for 2 players here, and that's for 3 players there. So use this side for 2 players, this side for 3 players. This is movement points, so don't get confused there. That might be because this is open. There we go. Alright, and then the blue player. Same thing. They don't use a deck of cow cards, so we don't ever have to worry about that for the blue player. And these buildings don't look very blue, do they? Alright, and we have plenty of room, so we can, start to lay out these buildings as we need to. This guy is going to specialize in builders, so he'll probably be building like mad, whereas these other ones are going to build less often, but they should all be building at some point along the way. Alright, the last thing we need to do, which I don't remember, so let me get into the rulebook here. Oh, I guess it's taking its sweet time. This right here. From the Kansas City Supply, draw 7 tiles with a 1 on their back and place them one after the other on the game board. That's what I needed right there. 7 tiles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is just seeding the board. These cowboys go here. They start at the 1 and then they go up in increments. So we're going to have 3 of them on the board at the start. This is a hazard, and it's got the picture of the sun because it's desert, and that's going to be here, and it starts again at the 1. Now, what are hazards? This is a trail, and you can see the little arrows here. From this building, we can walk this way up to here, or we can walk this way up to here. And we have buildings that we can place in these empty spots that can force other players to pay you money. And so you could try to, instead of paying money to the other players, you can go around. And but the problem is these hazards make you pay money too. But if you had a clear trail, you can skip all these buildings and go around. Also, you only have so many movement points, and if there's buildings in each of these spots, it might be less overall movement points to go through the desert. So that's what this is representing. This is rocky terrain, which would go here, and then we have 2 water terrains, which are going to go there and there, like so. And I believe, well, hold on, we got to seed this too. We have to put so we're going to fill up the top row and then place the next tile onto the space to the right of that tile. Continue along the second row. Okay, yeah, so basically we're filling top row in this. Alright, so we're going to do that from the 2. So we're going to play a 4-player game. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're drawing 7 of these. So here's the order matters. So we're going to have to do the top row. Order up here doesn't matter, but the cost to buy these guys is listed here. So the order matters in terms of which of these 2 rows they're in. So we basically seeded the game. These are employees that are available for hire, and right now you can only hire employees that are in that are above this. So right now this is on the second row, so we can't hire these 3 employees until this moves down. Then we'll be able to hire anything that's above it. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I played this game a lot, and that's the problem. Is I probably should go through and make sure I didn't miss anything. But oh, we got to do the objective cards. Yeah, we got to do the objective cards and then the coins. So, and here you can see the solo mode has his name's Sam. So we'll deal with him, and we're gonna have to deal with the objective cards, which are here. These are the starting objective cards, so we're going to get one of these. That's for us. And I'm going to put it up here, which is probably why I should move this. Yeah, we'll move it to here, because that's the rules for the solo bot. So we're going to put the objective card, yeah, here. So what this is saying is I have a starter objective. There's no penalty for me failing to do this, but I need to build 2 buildings and remove a hazard. If I do, I will score 3 points. Now, if I had another one that was identical to this, I would need to build 4 buildings and remove 2 hazards. So the way the objectives work is if you have 2 cards that both say build a building, you have to have unique components for each one. You have to uniquely satisfy each one. Now, the rest of these starter cards are out for us. And now we do need to look for Sam here for setup, because even though he does not use objective cards, we're going to play medium game. We're not going to do hard. And this is just determining his specialization. So Sam doesn't use the player cattle cards. Sam does receive a starting objective. Okay, yeah. So we are going to use them. So objective 1, we're going to have to put it here. Okay, so we need to put these guys up above. And we'll put that up here. Okay, so these are objective cards that they accumulate. They automatically succeed. So these are automatic victory points for the bot. We have to work hard to satisfy ours. They don't. And then the remaining objective cards, we're going to just shuffle, and then you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the order matters, because the way this works is the AI, if they ever get an objective card, they will always take the one from the bottom, and everything else is going to shift down. If you're playing a multiplayer game, none of that nonsense is necessary. So I'm thinking, because this is interfering with my stuff, I'm going to do it across. We're going to go across this way. So, this is the one they'll pick from, and then they will shift to the right. And every new one will come in after they shifted to the right. So yeah, if you're looking at the objectives and you're like, man, I want this one and I want that one, make sure you take the one that's furthest to the right, because you may not get to have it later. So that's it. That's special. That's setup. Oh, we got to get our money. Money. You take the first turn. You start with $6, 1 exchange token, and draw 4 cards. Sam never uses money or exchange tokens, so we do get $6. Let's do that. Where are we going to put it? We'll put it here. 5 and 1 for 6. So there you have it. We have our start. I'm going to end the video here. We will start to play through in the next video. And here we go. We're going to play the basic game of Great Western Trail against 3 bots. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.